Hello there and welcome back, and today it is time for more Premier League content. Yes, it's what you need in 2021. Presenting to you today are what I think are the top 10 best signings of the Premier League so far. I guess I should say so far because the season isn't really ended yet, has it? But yes, the top 10 best signings of the season so far in the Premier League. Perhaps I'll do a non-biased Championship edition as well. If you guys want to see that, then please comment and like down below. But yes, top 10. 10th, of course, being a fairly decent signing nonetheless. And first, just being a transfer of beauty, like a signing that reeks of Jermaine Defoe's survival with Sunderland. I mean, nothing gets better than that. Real quickly before we start, be sure to like and subscribe as well. If not, your team will have 10 years of bad luck. There we go. I've said it there. But anyway, coming in at number 10, we have a signing made by Newcastle, and he is currently hurt his hamstring, I believe. I believe he's still out injured. But England striker Callum Wilson, how brilliant has he been this season? Probably a player that they desperately need right now as well, Newcastle. He scored 10 goals this season, being class. There was also that question of will he perform with Newcastle. Of course, left Bournemouth when they got relegated. When he was playing though, it was looking like Newcastle were comfortably gonna stay up. Obviously, they're now sinking down more, closer to the relegation zone. It was a good buy for the club, great business. Good to see Newcastle actually doing some good business for once. He is still proven to be a good finisher in this league, of course. I think he'd have more goals if he wasn't injured. He was getting in a good run of form before he got that hamstring injury. And it's showing that he's fitting nicely in the squad, you know. I mean, he's got 10 goals right now. Last season, he got 8 in 35 games. Bournemouth did have a lot of injuries last season, so he probably altered how many goals he was going to score ultimately. But all eyes on him for this last part of the season when he is back and recovered. For 9th place, a player who used to be at my former club, Norwich, is Ben Godfrey. Unbelievable how well this guy had still performed highly in the Premier League, and it was interesting from a Norwich point of view to see how he would do under Carlo Ancelotti's wing, and so far I can confirm that he's been class. Felt like he should have got that England call-up as well to the senior squad if it wasn't for Eric Dyer, but good to see him in the under-21s, of course. It's been class seeing him under this wing of Ancelotti. He's been able to adapt him all over the pitch now in games. I've seen him as a normal traditional centre-back, but I've also seen him shifted out to the left of the field this season. I've seen him play in the midfield a bit as well, which he did do normally when he was playing in the academy for Norwich. I was a little unsure with the amount of games he was getting as soon as he joined Everton. I thought he was going to be there to back up the numbers for depth-wise, but he's actually had to be used straight away. And he's proved the doubters wrong. He's proved me wrong with how well he would still do in this Premier League. After all, 66% tackle succession rate this season, and 5 clean sheets he's got in 18 games with the squad. Made a few mistakes perhaps here and there, but I mean, he's still got time to improve, hasn't he, with his age? So yeah, and he's became a vital member in the squad, regular starter. Before this international break that we're on. I think the actual defence this season for Everton has been fine. It's been more of a goalkeeping issue for the club. I'm not really a biggest fan of Pickford. That's another story. Perhaps I'll wrap it up in another video. Who knows? Okay, here's a question for you. Who's the best Brazilian winger in the league this season? Oh, you said Rafinha for Leeds? Oh, correct. Well, he'll be entering 8th place in this one. Class player and vital down the right-hand side of the field this season. Bit like Godfrey, he is a regular starter now, proving it all around the field with goals and assists. And when a team gets promoted to the Premier League, I mean, of course they have to invest. They've got Rafinha, and he's been a question of will he perform in the Premier League, because whoever joins the Premier League, straight away you have a challenge and pressure of trying to perform, because you know the step up in this league, and Rafinha's just classed it. Absolutely classed it. I mean, played 21 games now, scored 5 goals in that time with 5 assists. His work is completely uncredited. It's a shame to see him at Leeds, but you put him in a Tottenham team where he's able to assist these balls to Harry Kane. Perhaps even Rafinha should be a target for Spurs.
Please come and join us at Tottenham so we can bottle the league together.
With a player like Harry Kane, then I think we see more of his work to full use, and we probably credit him more, or certainly all of the fan bases do around the country. Skill is there, Premier League quality 100%, a bit of a jump, like I said, from Liga 1 to the Premier League, but he's deserved it. He's been brilliant, and we definitely haven't seen the end of him yet, so all eyes on him for the rest of the season. And now we talk about Spurs. One of their best players this season, I think, or certainly in the earlier part of the season, this is probably why I'm going to only put him 7th, is perhaps you'll say it should go to Pierre-Emile Hoiberg, the Danish central midfielder. And not only has his defensive work been crucial this season for Spurs, but also his work as a playmaker in this squad has been 100% needed. For a midfielder who sits back a lot, these stats are actually quite good. 1 goal and 3 assists. That's pretty good for a midfielder who is sitting back a lot. But then we have 48% tackle succession rate too this season. Pretty good nonetheless. Started this season well, like I said, but the best thing about this transfer and why he is in my top 10 is the doubt on the line, really, and how Southampton fans thought they had the better part of the deal. Actually getting rid of him, they thought was better than Spurs gaining him.
Just smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
But I actually thought Spurs got a much needed player in this squad, a player who was strong defensively and a brilliant midfielder overall, really. The biggest thing for me right now is actually just building this strength in this team. Keep Hoiberg, of course, adapt him with perhaps another midfielder to his kind of expertise, or even perhaps get a new defender for Tottenham. He's in my top 10 just from how well he performed in the starter part of the season. Perhaps if he continued this form throughout the rest of the season, he would be higher in the top 5 section perhaps, but who knows? Okay, another question now. It's literally turning into a quiz today. Who is that young lad who was at QPR last season? Oh yeah, that is right. Yeah, Eberechi Eze is on the list as 6th place. It's been crazy to see him still perform so highly and so skillfully well in the Premier League, comparing him to when he was in the Championship. But this is his first season in the Premier League, and when you see him play, you wouldn't even think that from the confidence he has. 3 goals, 3 assists in 25 games as well, but his goal involvement has been class. He's controlled the ball so well a lot this season. And everyone goes on about Wilfried Zaha. Well, they need to be talking about Eberechi Eze this season. And that's why he's primarily also 6th. They haven't had Zaha. They've had to have another player come out and come into the spotlight. And it's been Eberechi Eze for me. He's been goated in that midfield. But only 6th on the list because at the same time of coming into the spotlight, they need more goals. Perhaps he could have been the source for this. Hasn't actually been able to score as much with only 3 goals this season. More of a goal feeder in this team, I think, but still nonetheless, it was great business that Palace done, and Defo in the top 10. Okay, now time for a Brazilian defender who's still going strong at the age of 36. Yes, Thiago Silva is up next in 5th place. He's been a strong centre-back for Chelsea and strengthened that defence, which was something that was needed in my eyes compared to last season. More of a senior player as well, and he's coming into a team with a lot of younger players, and he can influence a lot of these, like the likes of Reece James, may not be in a similar position, but like someone like Mason Mount, obviously at a younger age. A bit like obviously what JT done for Chelsea towards the end of his career. Thiago Silva can obviously adapt this kind of more leadership role towards the end of his actual football career. But as his defensive stats go by, he's got a 56% tackle succession rate this season and has made 98 recoveries as well. Class defender. And in the 17 games he's played, there's been 8 clean sheets made by him and the team, and I think some of these are actually with Kepa in goal as well, which, I mean, if you got Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal, is a massive challenge already for the defence to have a good game.
You're goddamn right.
A real good signing. A bit of a doubt we had again for me was will he perform? Obviously coming from Liga 1 to the Premier League at the age of 36 as well. We knew he'd have that core experience for the league, but it was whether he would perform or not from how quick and high the tempo is in the Premier League, and how high the quality is too. But absolutely been world class so far. So yeah, definitely 5th. Okay, coming up at 4th, you just can't hate this man this season. A player who looks so good that I think he will get in the Premier League team of the season. West Ham's finest, Thomas Soucek, and I'd be really surprised if they haven't named a pie out of him yet. Imagine a sausage and onion pie, or I don't know, I think that's all I got. Scored a hat-trick recently for Czech Republic as well, and the whole of Twitter was blessed with this. He plays as a central midfielder for the Hammers. Normally has defensive duties for the team, but of course we've seen him in a more kind of attacking midfield role this season. I mean, he still kind of does sit back a lot, but he's jumping forward, coming forward when the ball is playing up there, high up, and getting the odd header here or class goal here and there. Certainly a lot of bloody goals, actually. He's scored 9 goals this season as it goes. His goal per match is 0.31. Can I just say as well, Sadio Mane's is 0.27. That's the kind of line we have in the Premier League this season. Of course, there are just a few who beat him in this list of my top 10, but I'm actually surprised how well he's doing this season. I thought we'd see him as a Premier League midfielder this season. And then next it'd be the Championship for him with West Ham. Yeah, predicted that one wrong, didn't I? But instead, next season he'll be scoring goals in the Europa League, not the Championship, the Europa League. Mark my words. Strong defensively, a well-rounded player really, making 58 tackles this season, 165 aerial battles, 1, 2. The lad is massive. All this as well for 15 million. Again, another class deal this season. Has to be up here in the top 5 of best transfers in the Premier League this season. And again, another team like West Ham and Newcastle, it's good to see them doing a good business for once. You know, a good offer there that they've signed and put to Slavia Prague for Thomas Soucek. Okay, then we are top 3 now. Who gets in first? Well, a player who chose Villa over Arsenal as it goes. I mean, we all would right now. Now, Emi Martinez this season does not get enough respect. I'm telling you. He's currently played 28 games, and half of those games played, he's also got clean sheets in. Yes, that's 14 clean sheets, quick maths. Crazy numbers. What's so good is the... crazy numbers, but what's so good about this, again, and another transfer, which I think that had doubt about, you know... you look at players like Thomas Soucek, or just said about. You look at players like Callum Wilson, perhaps, and also Hoiberg. And another one to add to the list is Emi Martinez, who I'm talking about right now. They all had doubt, I think, from a lot of fan bases before they joined. But the best thing about football is they get on the field and they prove people wrong. And I love that. He's joined second with Mendy for the most amount of clean sheets this season too. And the keeper above them is actually Manchester City's Edison. Probably should give Mendy a shout as well and add him in. So if we can agree that, joint third place is Mendy and Martinez, then that'd be great. Yep. But Martinez, not a complete Arsenal reject, but we knew he wouldn't be kept there as number one keeper. You know, he never really was going as number one keeper there. He moves away, goes to Villa. I thought, yeah, he's done with. They'll probably get relegated. And he actually does probably is better than Bernd Leno this season as it goes. He's one save away from 100 as well during the time of recording this. Definitely top 5 in the list. So saved 1 penalty, and Villa have a real strong goalkeeper, all just for £15 million. Moving on though, and next we have a lad who's grasped the Premier League and now has also grasped England national team football too. It's Solly bloody Watkins here, and I mean earlier in the season, before he moved with Villa, I probably mentioned his name several times when I was discussing with teams that needed a new striker. I was always recommending Ollie Watkins to them. He's deserved this big league move for quite a long while now, and finally has it. And God, hasn't he just used it well? Costed Villa 27 million. I think that's It's good money for Brentford, good bit of business that they've done there. Scored 10 goals in 28 games, hitting the woodwork 7 times. The reason why he's so high up as second is because of the pressure on him to perform. Again, probably another player who had the doubt as well, whether he'd perform or all eyes were on him. After all, Villa haven't had much go plan for them recently in terms of getting that good striker. I think they've finally found one in Ollie Watkins. Wesley was a big name last season. Massive flop, a bit of a flop anyway. Might still have time to prove himself. But now they bring this Championship striker, Ollie Watkins, a huge jump up to Premier League level. And the biggest question for Villa at the end of the day is, will it work? I think it bloody well has. Tremendous so far, brilliant footwork when he has the ball. He's fast too, and we've seen already that he's great at finishing. And he's also in a great team, you know, around players like Grealish, Barkley and El Ghazi. Second place for me. Now it's time for top spot. He's the CR7 of defenders, this one. In fact, he knows Cristiano well from his Portuguese duties. Is of course Ruben Diaz. You had to know it was going to be him in top spot. And an honest opinion here as well. I think he's been the first player since Vincent Kompany that City have signed that has came through and actually looked like a strong leader. When, or I guess I should still say if, City win the league, he'll be top of the list for players who really deserve that. 27 games he's played this season, and in the 27 he's played, it's been 13 clean sheets. Conceded 15 goals in 27-2, which actually isn't bad at all. Got a 62% tackle success rate. Defensively, it's all good, I know. Maybe not first place defensively, but what makes him here at the top is the pure control he has on these games. When I ask you, and here's another question now. When I ask you though, who's made the most passes this season in the league, you say
6.5 hours later.
Nah, not Henderson, you fool. It's Ruben Diaz. Everyone for City knows him. You give him the ball, he will instantly play it around the back. And honestly, so important in that City team right now. Like I said, his control of the game is brilliant. You know, he really is a strong part in the whole team. But I love him dictating these games. That's a true leadership trait right there. And he's actually helping other players come through as well. I don't think John Stones would have had a greater season than he has had right now without Ruben Diaz with him. Them two as well are a great duo partnership. They're top of the league for so many reasons, and the big one is the effect Diaz has had on the whole team itself. But yes, ladies and gents, the best transfer of the Premier League this season is Ruben Diaz. Honourable mentions for Mendy and Jesse Lingard. I wasn't going to add Lingard in as I felt it was a little too soon, perhaps. Obviously joined West Ham in the January transfer window. We haven't really seen him enough yet. He's been fire so far, but it's the case of whether he'll consistently keep performing like that. And Mendy I generally didn't consider, but like I said, I think I'm going to add him in with Martinez, joint third place. So let's call this one the top 11 best transfers list in the Prem this season. But nonetheless, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and are wanting more football content and podcasts too, with the subjects around football and other subjects too. To be sure to show your support, as always, then whack that subscribe button and also show the love for the video with a like. It's been a pleasure as always again, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.
Me and my guys too groovy. And we still get grungy. Dreadlocks, little Uzi. Nothing but G's round here, so Gucci. Them man, they're gazy. Don't live no movies. But me and my guys too groovy. And we still get grungy. Dreadlocks.